Hi everyone, I'm just moving around till I'm in a comfortable spot. Good evening, and I hope everyone is having a lovely night tonight. I've just gotten home after a day of a combination of some really fantastic meetings with people and lots of potential in and around collaboration, and also an afternoon of focusing on my book and making some edits, etc. to the book. But tonight I thought it would be super fun for us to have a conversation, and this is the second conversation in and around leadership for the Focus for Being More Human for this month. And for this particular conversation, I thought it would be very useful to be able to discuss one question that we can ask that will make all the difference to our leadership. And again, we've already talked about leadership being a very written about topic, and the kind of topic really that's, I would argue, is overdone. So what we're trying to do is engage in a discussion with you about leadership, but from a range of different kinds of perspectives. So tonight, I thought what I would like to do is to share with you a quote that I heard. A couple of years ago, I was at a Women in Leadership conference, and it was down in Sydney, and there was a range of different speakers, and this particular speaker was a lady who is heavily involved in the Australian Financial Review. And what she was talking about is the role of her liking people as a leader and how that had impacted her as a leader. And she was saying, so she was from a finance background, and she was saying until she had actually been told this piece of information herself, it had been quite confusing for her as to what to focus on in leadership. Because if you think of leadership, two different ways to split it apart is to work out how much time and effort and energy you actually focus on people and humans, and how much time and effort and energy you focus on the task or getting the job done or delivering a particular outcome. And this lady from the Australian Financial Review was talking about how the key question that had changed it for her is when she heard someone say that if you're a leader, by definition, it means that you need to like people. And that might not sound like rocket science, but hi Michelle Faithful, how are you? It might not sound like rocket science, but if you think about it, there's probably a lot of leaders in our world that we know of, and maybe we're even a leader like this ourselves. We're in a leadership position for some way, shape or form. We've been technically great at something, so we've been promoted through the company, and yet what happens as a leader is suddenly you have to deal with all these humans. And of course, the thing about humans is they don't work the same way as processes. In fact, they're very, very different. So we can find ourselves being promoted up through an organisation, which means that we have more people underneath us reporting into us, and suddenly, we're having to spend large chunks of our day dealing with human issues and the complexities in and around communication and who's said something and politics, where all we want to do is be a great technician. So the story of this lady from the AFR is all about this focus that she learned. If you are going to be a leader, you actually should like people. And so what I want to do is just use that quote as a way to discuss these two elements of leadership today. For every single one of us, and you can go through a psychometric inventory to find this out, but really it's not rocket science. You should just be able to know the answer. For every single one of us as leaders, we have an easy place, a preference, if you like. For some of us, our preference is the task. So in that case, we would find it very easy to focus on actually getting the job done and working through a list, 1 to 5, and focusing on delivering the actual output or doing the thing that we need to do. For people in that category, you're likely to be more task focused, and you'll know who you are because you probably avoid people a little bit because you find that uncomfortable. For other people, they're likely to be predominantly more people focused, so they find it much easier to have the conversation with someone, to deal with the organisational politics, to Give some difficult feedback to somebody is a really key thing that we need to do as leaders. For some people, being in that place of interacting with people and having conversations, some people are very energized by that. They're very attracted to that, and they like that. They find that easy. So I'm in that category. I can do people, I can do tasks, but my easy place is with people. So for me, it's much, much easier to sit down and have a conversation, no matter how difficult that conversation might be, than what it is to have my list and to progressively work through my list. There's a couple of reasons that this is an important thing to know. It's important for you to know as a leader, because the requirement of a constructive leader or an exceptional leader is someone that can do both. So someone that knows, yes, I can be good with people and have the conversations that I need to, as and when that's important. Equally, someone that knows, yes, I can actually sit and go through my task list and complete things when that's more important. So the true sign of an exceptional leader is about bringing those two worlds together just like that, and sitting in the middle and having the behavioral flexibility that we need to focus on people when it's needed and focus on task when it's needed. Now, the other reason that this is a really important question to ask is for your own team. So you think about your own team for a second, and you might be in a small team of, I don't know, let's say 3 people or so, or you might be in a large team, maybe in an executive team or something of 10 people. So I want you to think for a second, that team of people that you're in, how many of those people, how many of their happy place is dealing with people versus how many of their happy place is actually dealing with task. And that's really important, because if you have a whole team of people that are predominantly task, and yet one of their key responsibilities is to lead the organization, then you're going to be having some challenges. Certainly some challenges in being able to influence and bring people along the road, as an example. However, on the other side of it, if you have a team full of people that are very people focused, and that they don't like doing the task, you're going to have the most lovely, warm and friendly and chatty and let's have lots of cups of coffee and, drinks at the water cooler kind of environment. Fantastic. There'll be hot cross buns one day, there'll be cupcakes another day. It'll be just the most amazing environment. But guess what? You're not going to get anything done, or not too much done anyway. So the reason that it's really important to ask yourself, am I more people focused or task focused? Firstly, you get the answer for yourself. Then secondly, you get the answer for your team. And that's going to show you, it's going to act a little bit as a needs analysis in some way of where you need to focus your development moving forward. If you are more focused on people, and that's very clear to you, and you have a goal to be promoted through your organization, then I would say to focus on the task side of things, actually getting the job done, delivering results, achieving goals, delivering and developing strategy. All of those elements are on the task-focused side. So I just want to get your brains thinking tonight about which side of the circle that you sit on. Are you more task or more people? Then I want you to think about your team. And of course, the next logical thing to think about is organizationally. So if we were to do this process as an organization, are we an organization full of people that love hanging out together but don't know how to do the job? Or are we an organization full of people that can do the job, but we annoy a whole bunch of people and we have this trail of disaster in and around human relationships behind us? So of course, the ideal is, like I said, for us to be able to bring those two worlds together and have the behavioral flexibility to focus on people when we need to and task when we need to. So if you're watching or if you've just jumped on, what I'd love you to do is just to pop in the comments what you think you are more focused on. Are you more focused on people? So Gina and Rochelle, are you guys more people, or are you more focused on task? And to go through that process of reflection and then work out how to focus your development moving forward. And I think that's a really useful question to think about tonight, unless of course you're about to go watch your favorite TV show as well. And ideally, moving towards that constructive position, like you've just said, Shell, is all about bringing them together, and it's both, okay? So I hope that's been a really useful and interesting thing to have a listen to tonight. Again, pop in the comments whether you think you're more people-focused or more task-focused. And later on, we'll have other conversations about exactly how you can develop one side of yourself or the other. So have a fantastic night and enjoy whatever the rest of the evening has for you. And if you've just jumped on and you're catching the end of our live stream, you can go straight to our website on 3Ws, beingmorehuman.com.au. And we specialise in helping to build human potential. And the way that we do that is working with individuals, teams, and organisations. So feel free to get in contact with us and open a conversation. Thanks and good evening.